Bangladesh in monsoon season. Vast swathes of land underwater for months, the result of annual torrential rain. It's a critical time. This is when rice, the country's staple, is planted. It's also the season when tens of thousands of children's lives are at risk because of unclean water. But that could be about to change. Scientists have found a simple mineral supplement that could save many of those lives and others around the world, if it reaches them. This is not a refugee camp. This is Bangladesh's world-famous diarrhoea hospital, the icddr. And this is what it looks like at peak monsoon time.
This is the main entrance of the hospital. We have taken up this road to put up one tent and also another tent so that we can treat around 600 patients per day visiting us in this post-monsoon season of August and September.
In the developed world, diarrhoea is rarely life-threatening. In the developing world, it claims the lives of about 1.5 million young children every year. It is the second largest cause of death in children under 5, more than AIDS, malaria and measles combined. Untreated, it rapidly leads to dehydration and even death within hours. For millions in Bangladesh, one of the most densely populated countries in the world, poor sanitation, poor nutrition and poor health among children are major factors.
We live with waters and rivers, and we use the same water for bathing, for washing utensils, clothing, and even consuming those waters without proper boiling. So this results in this increased number of diarrheal cases.
In Bangladesh, more than 50,000 children under 5 die from diarrhoea every year. Sick, weak, and often dreadfully malnourished, their anxious parents bring the lucky ones here to the icddr's overspilling children's ward in the capital, Dhaka.
Then the most important thing is pinching the skin of the abdomen and seeing how quickly it returns. You see, it returned, but a little bit slowly. So we say there is some degree of dehydration in this baby.
Dr. Azharul Islam Khan is one of the icddr's most senior medics. He's seen the deadly consequences of severe and chronic diarrhoea too often.
This baby has come in with a complaint of diarrhea for the last 4 days.
Many cases of diarrhoea are caused by the rotavirus, easily picked up as contamination is spread by the floods. Bacteria, including cholera, found in contaminated and dirty water, can also trigger deadly bouts.
Normally, every day we receive on an average 250 to 300, but on peaks we receive 450 to 600 patients.
This is the tried and trusted treatment for diarrhoea, oral rehydration salts, or ORS, a carefully balanced combination of sugar and salt, which when mixed with clean water, prevents dehydration. Since it was pioneered in the 70s by the icddrb, it has saved millions around the world. Now doctors here have made another breakthrough. They believe they can save millions more lives with this tablet, which costs as little as a Bangladeshi newspaper, and used in conjunction with ORS is a powerful weapon against the disease. It is made of the essential mineral, zinc.
In this children ward, we give this to every child aged 6 months to 5 years old, and one tablet contains 20 milligram dispersible tablet for 10 days.
Scientists at the icddr have found that zinc reduces the duration of diarrhoea episodes and also prevents future attacks. There is little dispute about its benefits, but no one knows exactly how zinc works. It is believed to boost the immune system and, in the case of diarrhoea victims, repair the damaged intestinal wall.
The addition of the zinc tablet to ORS in the treatment of diarrhea has made a big difference. The number of children dying from diarrhea has reduced greatly, and with this reaching to every nook and corner of Bangladesh will have a more tremendous effect in future.
The challenge will be to reach children in the poorest parts of the country, like the slums of Dhaka, where families live crowded together with little sanitation and diarrhoea is rife. With this in mind, the World Health Organization and the United Nations Children's Agency, UNICEF, have recommended that zinc combined with ORS become the standard treatment.
In Bangladesh, we have calculated that between 30 to 70,000 child lives per year could be saved. Globally, I think that number is almost 500,000. It's not the panacea to all the world's child health problems, but it's a great first step, and it's also low cost.
This is where the life-saving pill is made. 40 million tablets are produced every year under the name Baby Zinc on the outskirts of Dhaka. With funding from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the icddr bought the patent for a soluble, child-friendly form of zinc from a French pharmaceutical company and awarded it to this Bangladesh firm. The zinc tablets would be distributed free to all public hospitals and clinics. But would it reach the people who needed it most? "200 kilometers from Dhaka, this is Janagathi in Sherpur district. Normally, this is dry land. But during monsoon season, it's transformed. A vast lake turns neighbouring villages into islands."
বন্যা কবলিত এলাকা, বিশাল দুর্দশা নিষ্পীড়িত এলাকা। এই এলাকায় প্রায় 5 মাস ব্যাপী পানি থাকে বাড়ি ঘরে। কি কষ্ট এই এলাকার মানুষজনের, দুঃখ দুর্দশা কেউ দেখতে চায় না। এই রাস্তাগুলি প্রায় 3 থেকে 4 ফুট নিচে এখনো আছে। শুকনার সময় অগ্রহণ কার্তিক মাসে বাংলায় এই রাস্তাগুলো শুকিয়ে যায়, সেই সময় আমরা বাইসাইকেলে বা হেঁটে পায়ে হেঁটে বা রিকশায় চলাচল করি।
For grocer Mohammed Manan, a boat is the only way to get vital supplies during the rains. In his borrowed canoe, it's a long trip. At night, it's too hazardous to undertake. 2 years ago, he lost his only son, 1.5-year-old Shumon, to diarrhoea.
আমার ছেলেটা রাতে 2-3 বার পাতলা পায়খানা হয়েছে। তাই এলাকায় তো মানে প্রচুর পরিমাণে পানি যাওয়া আসা। তো বললাম যে আমার ওয়াইফকে বললাম যে তুমি থাকো, এই রাতে আর কই নিয়ে যাবে।
The next day, Mohammed rushed to the nearest market 3 kilometres away for medicine, but it didn't help. Then he put his gravely ill son in the boat and went to the nearest hospital on the other side of the lake, and from there to a better equipped larger hospital in the closest big town. But it was too late.
বাচ্চা মারার অবস্থা, কোনো অক্সিজেন দিল, অনেক চেষ্টা করলো, কয়েকটা ডাক্তারে ভালো হলো না, মারা গেল। এক প্রকার বলা যায় চিকিৎসার অভাবেই মারা যায়।
2 years on, he's still grieving. But he's determined to do something positive with his pain. In his small grocery shop, Mohammed barely makes ends meet. But he has big plans. These days, he makes time to give extra tuition to his oldest daughter and her cousins. It's his way of coming to terms with his son's death.
এটার উপরে কেন্দ্র করে মনের ভিতরে আমার একটা দীর্ঘ আশা আমি এই সামান্য মুদির দোকান থেকে আমার মেয়েটারে আমি লেখাপড়া করে ভবিষ্যতে ডাক্তার বানাবো আমার উদ্দেশ্য এটাই
Diarrhea!
To spread the word about zinc to people like Mohammed Manan, a TV ad campaign was launched to promote its use. It was paid for by the icddrb. Baby zinc is the only drug that can be advertised on Bangladesh television. In a country where 90% of people get their medical treatment from village doctors or the local chemist, it could make all the difference.
ডায়রিয়া হলে স্যালাইনের পাশাপাশি শিশুকে দিন।
Awareness always precedes use. So while awareness is up at around 70% nationwide, what we see with use is that the use is still hovering at a little less than 20%, a little lower in the rural areas and considerably higher in the urban areas.
The trouble is, unless more people start using zinc and oral rehydration salts, their children will continue to die in tens of thousands. The question is, why aren't more children getting the new treatment? Bangladesh is a country built on water, but with the water comes sickness, deadly diarrhoea, which claims more than 50,000 young children every year. Top scientists in the country believe they have a new, cheap way to stop the deaths. But can they reach Bangladesh's poorest, who need it most? The government of Bangladesh hopes this may be the answer. It decided to reopen community clinics where these women are now bringing their children. The facilities are basic, but for many families, this is the nearest they will come to public health care. 5 kilometres away, the nearest hospital is just too difficult to reach. This young mother has come for help. Her son has bad diarrhoea.
পাঁচ বছরের নিচের বাচ্চা আসলে জিঙ্ক দিয়ে দেই বলে দেই যে প্রতিদিন একটা করে 10 দিনে 10টা জিঙ্ক ট্যাবলেট খাওয়াবে
The trouble is the zinc is running out. The funding to provide the mineral to sick children in clinics and hospitals across the country has come to an end. Here, the nurse is down to her last few pills.
জিঙ্ক এর আগে আসিল না কিছু দিছে আমার আর কি 100 এর মতো আমি বাচ্চাদেরকে বিতরণ করতেছি প্রায় শেষ হয়ে গেছে যেহেতু জিঙ্ক শেষ হয়ে যাচ্ছে সেজন্য আমি খুবই চিন্তিত জিঙ্ক যেহেতু দিতে পারবো না এজন্য আমি খুবই দুঃখিত আর কি
She's not alone. Across Bangladesh, doctors and nurses are struggling to give young children the new treatment.
There is not enough supply of zinc up to the community clinic level. Even there is not enough supply to the health complex as well. So unless there is enough zinc, the community will not get the proper kind of treatment for diarrhea.
the Bangladesh government added zinc to its list of essential drugs for children in May 2008. But nearly a year and a half on, it's still not manufacturing or supplying its own zinc tablets to its hospitals or clinics.
আমাদের দেশে আমাদের এসেনশিয়াল ড্রাগ ল্যাবরেটরিজ আছে, আমাদের ইন্ডাস্ট্রি, গভর্নমেন্ট এই ইন্ডাস্ট্রির মাধ্যমেই প্রকিউর করবে, এই প্রোডাকশনে যাবে। তবে এট দ্য সেম টাইম আমরা আমাদের ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল এবং কন্ডিশনের উপর অনেক কিছু নির্ভর করে, যেটা ডোনারও কিছু সাপোর্টের ব্যাপার আছে। তো সবগুলো মিলে আমরা যত শীঘ্রই পারি আমরা এই প্রোডাকশনে যাব।
Until then, women like Alia Akhtar will have to wait. She's a health advisor in one of Bangladesh's most deprived districts. Her job is to give advice to pregnant women and families in her neighbourhood.
বন্যা এলাকা, ডায়রিয়া মোটামুটি প্রত্যেক এলাকায় রয়েছেন। ডায়রিয়া রোগী মাঝে মাঝে আমরা প্রায় বাড়িতেই পাই।
Soon she hopes to be able to distribute zinc tablets too. UNICEF is stepping into the breach. It'll give away zinc to children in 11 of the poorest districts in the country until the government is able to take over. How long that'll take is unclear.
ভালো লাগে যেন আমাদের শিশু যেন অকালে মৃত্যু না হয়, একটা সুস্থ শিশু আমরা চাই। ভালো লাগে নিজের শিশুর মতো সবই।
To truly make an impact on diarrhoea requires better prevention, an effective sewage system and clean water. But Bangladesh is gradually making big changes. These men are government engineers checking the new hygienic toilets that have been built in this village.
খোলা ল্যাট্রিন থেকে আমরা এখানে একটা ইমপ্রুভ ল্যাট্রিন আসছে, যেটা নাকি স্যানিটারি সিল অন্যান্য আছে, লোকালি মেড, এবং তারা লোকালি তৈরি করেছে, এবং এখানে ছাই আছে, ছাইটাকে তারা ব্যবহার করে। এরপরে তারা স্যান্ডেল যাওয়ার জন্য স্যান্ডেল ব্যবহার করে, স্যান্ডেল ব্যবহার করে তারা বের হয়ে ছাই ব্যবহার করে। অন্যান্য করার পর দেখা যায় যে রেজাল্ট এখানে ডায়রিয়া ডিজিজটা অনেক কমে গেছে।
UNICEF says that 36% of people in Bangladesh are now using improved latrines that don't spread diarrhoea, causing germs. But more than 7% do not use toilets of any kind.
আমরা তো হাত ধোয়ার জন্য আলোচনা করতেছি, তাই না? তাহলে যে হাতটা ধোয়ার জন্য ধোয়ায়, কিন্তু হাতটা না ধুলে আমাদের কি হয়?
UNICEF is also trying to educate people on the importance of hand washing. This demonstration is a big draw on a hot afternoon, particularly the chance to practice the new skill.
You can never eradicate diarrhea from Bangladesh. It's not like smallpox. We live with rivers, we live with seas, so we have to live with those same water that we use for bathing, washing utensils, clothes, and then for consumption. But we have to know that no child dies from diarrhea.
In this village cut off from the nearest hospital by the rains, grocer Mohammed Manan is keen to play his part. After losing his baby son to diarrhoea, he's determined not to let the same thing happen to his neighbours. He's learnt how to prevent diarrhoea. Now, along with the onions, garlic, potatoes and kerosene, he sells oral rehydration salts and baby zinc.
আমার ওই শুধুমাত্র একটা ছেলেই ছিল, ছেলেটা মারা যাওয়ার পরে আমার মনে অনেক কষ্ট, দুঃখ। আমি ভাবলাম যে কষ্টে আমার ছেলে মারা গেছে আমি চিকিৎসার সময় দিতে পারিনি, আমি হাতের কাছে কিছু বেবি জিঙ্ক রাখবো এবং কি ওর সাথে ওআরএস কিছু স্যালাইন রাখবো, আর কেউ আমার মতো কখনো এইভাবে কাঁদতে না হয়।
On the streets of the capital Dhaka, Increasingly, zinc can also be found on the shelves of the city's chemists, a promising sign. It costs around 14 taka for 10 tablets. That's substantially less than $1, but still too much for some of the poorest families.
Whether people get their zinc in the private or public sector, we want zinc to be available, we want the providers to promote it, and we want parents to feel empowered to use it for their children.
The signs are good. Bangladesh is the country that successfully pioneered the use of ORS, oral rehydration salts, saving tens of thousands of lives.
We know we can do this with zinc. It took 30 years to get ORS to 80%. We know that with zinc, if we have help, that we can do better and faster.
As Bangladesh fights to save its children with zinc, the lessons learnt will go far beyond its shores and could save millions of lives around the world.